my wife is the one, God rest her soul, she was the one that initially got me involved. And she says to me one day, you know, I got to talk.
That's an ancient clip from 2003 of me interviewing Frank Duci. I look much younger. We look much younger there, huh, Mr.
Yeah,
Duci?
a few years.
Thank you for coming on. And you are the longest running mayor of Schenectady's history. 16 years as mayor.
That's right.
How does that feel?
Oh, great. Thanks to the good Lord and the people who voted for me.
And why do you think they
every minute of
supported
it.
you for so many years? I mean, to be mayor for 16 years is an amazing accomplishment. Why do you think people relate to you so well and they supported you with all the votes throughout all the years?
Well, I tried to be a people-oriented person who placed the people as a priority number one. And the challenges, you know, on a day-to-day basis were great. They were the kind of thing that I wanted to proceed and to do in the best interest of the people in their community. And so that challenge, you know, kept, you know, me quite busy.
And I was watching that clip and I noticed that you said that you were given opportunities as mayor to make money, to do certain things that aren't right. And you turned down those opportunities that you could have taken.
Oh, yeah.
But you didn't want to have any skeletons in your closet, and morally you did not want to do that.
That's exactly right. As I preached for many years, as a matter of fact, to school children, and I did that for many years, you know, once you do something that's illegal, that skeleton sticks with you.
It sticks with you.
And I've been intimidated, you know, many times over the years. Could have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, but that skeleton would have stayed with you.
You wanted to do what's right.
And that's exactly right.
Now, all the years you were mayor, did you enjoy the job overall?
Oh, I did.
You
I
did.
enjoyed it very much. I have been a people-oriented person. I love the challenges. I love working for the people. I love the governmental issues, you know, on a day-to-day basis. And I enjoyed every minute of it.
And how did you become involved in politics?
Well, back in
Your wife has some involvement in it.
49, my
Yes.
wife, God rest her soul, she passed away in 83. But,
Your first wife.
My first wife,
His
yeah.
first wife, okay.
And in 49, they encouraged me to get involved in governmental affairs. And so they asked me to run for committeeman. So I ran for committeeman over in the 2nd Ward, north end of Schenectady. And I was elected every 2 years for 10 years. And I was a 2nd Ward leader for 10 years. And I got involved in a lot of governmental issues at that point. So in 1959, I was encouraged to run for supervisor of the North End in Schenectady. And thanks again to the good Lord and the people, I was elected. And I got elected every 4 years for 12 years as a county legislator supervisor.
Really?
And then at that point, in 71, I was encouraged to run for mayor. And again, thanks to the good Lord and the people who voted for me, I was elected and served there as mayor for 12 years.
And I know that you were reelected, and there were a lot of people that supported you.
That's right.
But you did take some difficult, you had some hard hits that went your way. How did you cope with that?
Well, John, you know, if you're voting for what you think is helping the people in their community, regardless of the intimidations, regardless of the accusations that are made by your political enemies, you continue to do the right thing.
But there's a lot of baggage that goes along with being mayor, and there's a lot of pressure. You have to sort of have a tough skin in order to do this sort of thing, right? How did you have that tough skin, and so to speak, and continue all these years and hold your head up high?
Right.
Was that difficult at times? Because
Well,
you say you were intimidated.
Yeah, well, the focus has always been the people in their community and the governmental issues as they affected the people in their community. And I placed that as a #1 priority, and that was the kind of challenge that I enjoyed every day, working, you know, for the people and as they had to do with governmental issues. And so that kind of a challenge kept me going. And regardless of the intimidations, regardless of the political actions that took place, over the course of the years that I served, I looked at the positive aspect of government.
And there were a lot of positive things that were going on when you were mayor, right?
Oh, yeah.
I understand you had your budget was under control.
Oh, yeah.
Very well and stuff. What are some of the things that you did as mayor that you're proud of today? To say,
well,
I'm very proud I did that back then.
In 92 through 95, I'm proud to say, thanks to my staff and all the people that worked for us, we spent less than budgeted for 4 years in a row. We attained a budget that was $43 million, and 4 years later, when I decided not to run for re-election in 96, the budget was still $43 million.
Wow. So was that difficult
so
to
that
do?
was the first. That
was a challenge for you?
That was a challenge, and thanks to my staff and all of the people that worked for us, that challenge was achieved.
Do you have any regrets as mayor, when you were mayor for all those years? Do you have anything you wish you didn't do or wish you didn't say at that time?
No,
You have no regrets?
No regrets at all. As I say, I love working for the people, and the only regrets maybe that are involved is some of the political actions that took place, and I might have said some things to my, political enemies that maybe I shouldn't have said.
Right.
And I have really apologized for some of those remarks anyway.
Is that difficult, not to be pinned up against each other? There's different parties, Democrat and Republican. I was talking about that earlier, that you're a Republican. And is that difficult when you're up against other politicians?
Oh, yes. You've got that political opposition that takes place. As a matter of fact, 12 of the 16 years that I was mayor, I had a Democratic-controlled city council. And so you take quite a beating.
I bet, being a Republican. Now, why are you a Republican? How did you make that decision to become a Republican?
Well, that decision was made back in 1949.
1949.
When my wife and my friends, close friends, decided to ask and try to convince me to get involved in politics, and then they wanted me to be a Republican.
So your wife made the decision out of it.
Yeah, that's right.
And you just went with it.
I didn't know the first thing about it.
Really? So you weren't a politician from the start.
No,
you just
never.
basically got involved because you wanted to help the people.
That's
now,
right.
do you agree with some of the issues and some of the things that the Republicans say and that they stand for?
Well, yes. There was an awful lot of issues that were, again, people-oriented, that helped the city. Over the years, for instance, we initiated the action for the community college.
Right.
And we barely had enough votes, Republican votes, to attain the $750,000 that we needed to buy the Vancouver Hotel. I mean, that was quite an achievement.
And weren't you instrumental in the housing complex with getting that off the ground? And
the municipal housing, yes.
Yeah, your name is on the wall printed, right?
Right.
Why is that?
Well, we got the federal program started, The municipal housing program was quite a, when you talk about the financial aspect of it, used to have a deficit of maybe, a couple of $1 million. And then one day, when I was mayor, I found out about a federal program, for municipal housing, and I followed through with that. We attained the funds, and after that, the municipal housing ran, at least eliminating the deficit.
So there was a lot that you accomplished in your years as mayor. And I know that Mayor Stratton recently presented you an award. Correct? And that's from the North Side Award. What was that? Tell us about that.
Well, that was they named the street, the Four Corners, where I was born on Avenue A, the Frank Duci Plaza.
Frank Duci Plaza.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and
I mean, so
was-
do you walk by and say, my name is up there, take a
Right.
picture of it?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
exciting for you
It
after
is.
all these years of being involved?
Yeah, and I was very grateful to,
Did you expect this sort of honor?
no, I didn't expect it.
You didn't, so it came
It came as a surprise, and I was very grateful to Stratton, who's a Democrat and I'm a Republican.
Right.
I was grateful for what he did,
And one
and
of
the
the-
city council as well.
And one of the things that Stratton said during while giving you the award, he said that you and him have a difference in opinion.
We
Is
did.
that true?
Yes,
And
we
have you
did.
worked with Mayor Stratton?
Yes, I try to work with him
So-
and the council, regardless of how we might feel on the issues.
Are you still involved with politics to this day?
Yes,
You are.
yeah.
So you never stop. You
Oh,
enjoy
no,
what you're
no,
doing.
No, you never stop.
And how do you think the management is dealing with the city now? Do you think they're doing a good job?
Well, I could get into
A lot of issues, right?
a lot of
So-
issues, but let me just say that there are some things that should be done that they haven't pursued as yet.
But Metroplex, we'll get into Metroplex. That's a very great thing that they're doing. They're helping improve Schenectady. The movie theater came in downtown. There's more businesses. But you say the population's down, you were telling me. So how does that
Well,
coincide? So to
every
speak?
single neighborhood, has been going downhill. And unfortunately, some of the crime situations here and there don't help.
But do you think
But-
there's a quick answer to that? That's sort of a long...
No,
Where do they start with these problems? Is there an answer?
well, no, there isn't an overnight answer to that.
Right.
And that's a very difficult situation. But I think they have to look at the positive side of it and start promoting some of the programs that are maybe oriented to serve the younger people. And maybe to get more younger people involved. For instance, you read the newspapers and you read about the negative things that young people do.
The
But
news
95% of our kids are great kids,
Right.
but you don't read about
They
that.
always focus on the negative.
Yeah, that's the
stuff
sad
that's
part of it.
What would you like to see with the future of Schenectady? What would you like to see develop and happen?
Well,
years to come.
I think, the taxpayers need a break.
Yeah.
And this is that it be used to offset the cost of sewer, water, sewage, and so, things of that nature, street work.
Right.
And you could eliminate the tax, base there, and use the sales tax revenue for that purpose. But I was turned down.
Why do you think the taxes are so high in Schenectady? I know in other areas they're not. The taxes aren't as high.
No. Well, again, as I say, I think because we haven't done enough to try to offset that tax base.
And Schenectady's a good place. There's things to do here, isn't there? Would you recommend someone to come to
Oh,
Schenectady?
yeah, Schenectady has a lot of fine things. It's a great history.
Do you keep up with the current events that are happening and this terrible oil spill that's
Oh,
happening?
that's terrible. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's really sad because if that oil begins to penetrate the state of Florida, you're going to have the economy going downhill.
Now, my last question for you, because we're running out of time. What does Frank Duci do to relax nowadays?
Relax. Well, again,
Do you enjoy the weather?
I'm not too crazy about the weather.
Not too crazy.
I love golf, but
Really?
I haven't been able to play since I had, cancer in the in a lung.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm a little short-winded, but with the help of the good Lord and the doctors, family and friends, maybe I get back in that. I love golf. I love to watch the PGA tournaments and so forth. And
Well, that's great.
We used to play golf every single week, and I love that.
Well, that's good that you continue to be optimistic.
Oh,
that
yeah,
You
yeah.
continue to go on. So I want to thank our guest, Frank Duci. Nice job.
Well, thank
you
you.
very much. Schenectady's longest running mayor, 16 years. So it's a pleasure to have you back on the show, Frank. We'll go to another clip from that show we did in 2003, and I'll be back with Anna. Be right back.
Well, you go around, you get signatures, and you campaign for the people that are running for office and so on and so forth, And I wasn't interested at all. So she went around, got petitions,
Right.
put my name on a ballot. I got elected committeeman
Wow.
in 1949.
Wow.
And after I went to a couple of meetings, I got to love it.
You got to love
So
it.
that's how I got started. Yeah.
So what is the high off of it? What is the heat? What is it about it? Is it helping people so much?
That's right. It's ever since I got elected for 45 years, and ever since I first got elected, John, it's a case of working with the people, for the people, and then, of course, debating some of the legislative challenges that come up, And I always felt working for the people was very exciting. As a matter of fact, each and every time a major issue came up, I'd go out on the street, maybe for next week or two, and people would come up to me and say, gee, I heard you.
Well, I want to thank all my guests today. I had a great time.
Yeah.
Thank Anna Hall.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Mr. Duci.
That's right. And our staff as well. Greg Millette, Landis Burgess, and who am I missing? Tim Hilliard as well. So,
Thank you, Proctors, for letting us use your space.
And I thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Nice job.
A guy like me. This is for my girls that want a guy like me. Oh, shut it up. Exactly what I wanna do. Shut